Now.
See, the best thing that ever happened to me was marrying her because she really brought out my feelings.
I want to read something from the book. Absolutely. One of the quotes in the book that I absolutely loved, and I was highlighting this last night and everything, but it says, and this is Donny, this is you talking, it says, "The real Donny was no match for the entertainer Donny, and the entertainer in me would somehow manage to hold the lid on my fears and anxieties. Debbie found the real Donny and started the long, arduous task of digging him out." What did you mean by that?
Well, the entertainer would always cover up the personal life. I never was able to really express my personal feelings because I was always on. You know, you hit the stage, you turn it on. And I had to be careful what I said. I mean, you can relate to this.
Now, this isn't about me.
Okay, okay.
When I write my book, okay?
But when you say something, particularly as a teenager, you're trying to find yourself in the first place. Everything you say ends up in print. So you have to start being very careful what you say. So consequently, I just withdrew. I wouldn't say anything from my personal point of view until I married her.
Now, just really quickly, a couple of things I found interesting I never knew. Things were said about you like the best thing that could ever happen is for Donny Osmond's parents to have drowned him.
Oh, that was a quote.
Right. Other comments. What were some of the other comments?
The darkest day in rock and roll history was the day Donny Osmond was born.
Yeah. Things like that.
Yeah.
So, how did you handle all this?
Well, here again, you know, you build a shell around you, and you just try to... It hurts, man. It really hurts. I spent...
Talk to me. Talk to the hand.
Really hurts.
Oh, fine. Now, I'm sorry.
Things like that, you know, you just have to brush off your shoulders.
Now, to take it even a step further, is that also went into your relationship with your children. You know, being Donny Osmond's kid was not the greatest experience for them.
No.
Oh, hard. So on top of everybody else saying these things, you had to deal with this as a father. How did you handle that?
Well, it was difficult because you try to start controlling situations, and I became very controlling.
Why the control? Is that defined?
Well, you try to fix everything. You know, you don't want your kids to go through certain experiences. You don't want them to, as they say, bump their noses and go through hard times. Well, sometimes that's the best thing for a child to go through. It's the hardest thing for a parent to go through is to watch your child make a mistake. And you try to avoid the mistakes, but you can't live their life for them. And that's what I was doing. And so consequently, years later, my children let me have it. And it was the best thing that happened to me.
When you say let you have it,
they said, "Dad, we can't talk to you. You're always trying to control us. Let us be who we want to be."
How did you handle that, Dad?
It was hard. It was really hard. But I think he learned a lot through that experience. And he learned to let go, and he learned to just love his children and not try to control every issue. And he has a great relationship with the kids, and they love him dearly. You know, and it's always been that way, but there was a little bit of that, you know, just a little bit of that.
That tension.
Was that from childhood?
I think so. But here again, you learn from your childhood. And I'm raising my children so much differently. Not that our father or mother did the wrong thing. They did the best thing they could. And I think they did a good job. But I'm raising my children a little bit differently. They can come to talk to me about anything. They got a problem, they talk to me about anything. And you listen. That's the best thing you can do as a parent, is to listen to your children. And love them.
When we come back, I want to have a little bit of fun here because I asked your best friend to come on the show.
Oh!
And we're going to give him a chance to get even with you.
Oh, no.
So stay with us. We'll be right back after this.
Next, meet Donny's best friend and find out how he helped Donny survive the fall of the Osmonds. Stay with us.
It's very cold. Welcome. I'm sorry, I'm just talking. We've been talking to Donny about his new book, Life is Just What You Make It. And Before I bring out the next guest, I just have to say one thing on page 177. It says, in terms of my solo career, I'll just say 2 words, disco train. It says, this album I refuse to let my children see. If only that train had hit me before I recorded the following music. So, you know, that's a good end. That's a good end.
Oh!
This is for my nephews.
No!
For my nephews. Okay. I'm gonna have you sign it to my nephews.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
How would
All
you
right.
feel if you did an album cover like that?
I didn't do an album cover like this. Thank you. Now, this is so much fun to bring out this next person. This is Donny. You never had a lot of friends growing up.
No.
I would say
But this guy.
I would say he's probably your best friend.
My best
ever.
friend.
And you've known each other since what age?
Probably about 3 or 4, I think.
Somewhere
5, maybe.
Somewhere around there. First of all, would you please give a big welcome? I have to tell you, these guys gave me more scars, more grief. They tortured me. These 2 buried me up to my neck
That's right.
alive and left me in the backyard.
And proud of it.
He broke my finger. Will you please welcome Rob Diaz?
This is my best buddy, man.
You broke my finger.
How did I break your... No, well,
You threw me on the ground and said, here, let me pick you up.
I remember you hanging off a cliff and me saving your life.
Oh, you liar. All right, Rob,
quite,
first
Rob.
of all, I have to know, honestly, was it hard to be Donny Osmond's best friend?
At times. You know, the truth of the matter is when we got together, it was... we just had too much fun. He wasn't a superstar. He wasn't Donny Osmond's superstar. He was Donny. It was Donny and Robbie just hang around, have a good time. Anything that had a motor, we would race it. And he beat me in everything, always, except for the air chair.
The air chair.
The air chair.
The air
I can
chair.
do the air chair.
Yeah, you beat
can't
me on
do
the air chair.
One thing. There's one thing.
One.
Just one. That's okay.
One of the things, and the reason I asked you to come on the show, one of the things, and we could talk hours. I could tell stories about you two forever. But in here, it was really interesting because it talks about the article in Us magazine.
Yeah.
And it was, what was it called? It was the rise and fall of the Osmonds.
Mm-hmm.
And in there, as best friends do,
I remember it well.
you talked to him. What did you say to him?
Well, Donny and I were heading into L.A., and we were in the car, and he was really excited. I just remember him saying, hey, I've got this. I'm going to see public relations. Yeah, Norman Winter. And he got on the phone, and Norman said, hey, we've got the People magazine here, and we want you to read the article.
It was not us.
Us magazine.
It was not a nice article.
No. And when we got there, Donny read it. Tears came to his eyes, and he just goes, I can't believe you did this. And he stood up and just walked out.
How did you feel?
Well, it was difficult because I was very open and honest. You know, I thought, let's be honest. You know, that's what people want to hear.
Talked about what?
I talked about my family. I talked about what we've been through, and they turned it into an expose of, like the quote, the headlines, the rise and fall of the Osmond Empire. So everybody looks to me as the one to blame.
How did Rob help you?
Well, he was my best buddy, and he was there for me. And but you even hurt me. You said, you've really made a mistake. You've really done it this time. So here was my best buddy, even against me. So that was a very difficult time for me.
Why do you felt that you had to reveal things like that? Was it a healing process for you? You know how they say you never know what you feel until you say it? Did you feel that way? I mean, was it difficult talking about those things?
It was difficult reading about those things because when you say something and when it ends up in print, it can be a little bit different, as you well know. Somebody can take your comment out of context, and that's exactly what happened in this article. And when the rest of the family read it, I felt, they didn't, but I felt alienated from the whole family because I was the one that exposed certain things that we didn't want to really talk about.
Financial
the
situations.
financial aspects of our family. And, you know, we weren't having hit records at the time, and they kind of drilled that in as well. And so everybody said, Donny, you're to blame.
So, there's so many more things I want to talk about. We just don't, we're out of time. And I want to thank Rob for coming down here. Rob, it's great to see
believe
you.
you're on our show.
Debbie.
It's so cool, man. It's so cool.
Debbie, thank you so much for coming down. And, you know, I hope it gives you kind of a taste of what the book is about. My brother is the best. The book is called Life is Just As You Make It. My story so far. And everybody in the audience gets a copy.
Everyone gets one.